Welcome to a new Daily Top AskReddit video. Today's topic:
what is your most disturbing secret? A few years ago I used to work at Home Depot at the returns desk. It was mostly very elderly people who worked alongside me in our store. I was the youngest in the team. We had a lady, Margaret, who had issues with bowel control due to her medications. She used to fart without even realizing she's farting, usually loud but harmless ones even when she was having a normal conversation. So we got so used to her doing that, even though it was awkward in the beginning. One day we were having a team huddle and it started to smell like fresh manure, such a strong stench, and then one more with different flavor this time. The manager dismissed the team huddle, and one of the team members murmured, "My God, Margaret, what was that?" It was me. "I did that, Margaret, I'm sorry." Grimace. One time I was rocking my daughter to sleep when she was a baby. I let one go so bad that she started crying and wouldn't stop until I changed her diaper. You literally gaslit your baby. Thank you for this story. I used to work with a Margaret at the hospital I work at. She could fart while walking down the hallway. It's almost like she had a fart button on the underside of her left foot. Anyhow, after having 2 patients pass away today, one expected, one not expected, I needed this story, especially the last line of your story, today. My husband passed away a few years ago. I tell everyone how much I loved him and only talk about the good times we had and how great he was. In honesty, I hated him for every bit of the 33 years we were together. He was so mean to me, both physically and mentally, every single day. He hid it well, and in front of anyone he was okay to me, but when we were alone he was terrible. I hated him so much. I live alone now and I'm just finding myself. I moved to a different state and have made new friends, and everyone seems to really like me, and I even like myself now too. It's been really hard to tell myself that I am okay. I have never said any of this out loud. I feel bad that I am happy he is gone. You're free now. You don't have to feel badly about being glad about that. I hope you're doing okay. It reminds me of Jeanette McCurdy's book, I'm Glad My Mom Died, which details her pain and how her mum's death was her own freedom. Don't feel bad at all. I'm glad you are doing well. My best friend is actually his uncle's kid. Apparently he confessed to it on his deathbed. The mum won't admit anything and he can't talk to anyone else in the fam about it. DNA test time. Ancestry's DNA testing kits would be great for Christmas presents for the whole family, rolling on the floor laughing. I'm an alcoholic. No one is aware of how bad it's gotten, but I'm drinking to almost blackout daily and going to work ill every single day. I still do my job fine, but the second I'm off it's all I want to do and I can't stop myself anymore. It's been like this for almost 2 years now. What I'm doing to myself while acting completely fine to everyone disturbs me, but I'm really struggling to get myself help. Skeptical smiley face. Stop drinking. One of the most supportive, wholesome communities on this site. You can do it, don't let it get too late, and it's some incident that knocks you into stopping. Yep, this sub saved my life. 2,275 days sober, and I owe every single one of those days to the people there. This is your first step. You've told us, now it's time to take the next one. That's how every journey starts, one single step. You can do this and be back in a year's time to tell us you are now alcohol-free. One thing my therapist taught me is the size of the next step doesn't matter. It can be refraining from your substance of choice for an extra second, minute, hour, or day. It's an all or something attitude, and I often use it in many aspects of my life where I struggle. I remember reading a post from someone who was an addict who would mark down every hour they stayed sober, until it became days at a time. It served as a way to remind themselves that being sober was possible. I may be a stranger on the internet, but I believe in you. I've struggled with addiction too, and it is a fucking cliche thing to say, but there is light at the end of the tunnel, and you're stronger than you might think. Heart. We believe in you. I regularly daydream about murdering one specific person. I go to therapy twice a month and have been doing that for 5 years, and even my therapist has no idea I have these thoughts. They're just thoughts I don't plan to act on. Is it the therapist? You'd think if anyone deserved it, it would be the rapist. I read something that stuck with me. It said your brain is just automatically making thoughts similar to how your lungs just breathe without your help and your heart just beats by itself. That's its job, to just spit out thoughts all day long. The real you is the second thought, the voice in your head that's like, "That's kinda fucked up, brain, we're not gonna do that," is the real you. The fact you're acknowledging it's not right and not gonna act on it says more about you than the fact your brain is just being weird. If you start agreeing with the brain, then it might be a problem. Thoughts are just thoughts, it seems you have it under control. But please, if something gets more serious, consider help. The jail thing is not gonna happen if you don't act. I was sexually abused by my aunt at the age of 7 to 12. She recently got in a car accident and now she's paralyzed from the neck down. It sort of brings me joy that she can't harm other kids. Karma for real. Fuck people who hurt children. I was sexually abused from the age of 7-11 by a former family member. He's in jail now, but not from me coming forward. Justice in some sort of way, I suppose. Glad he's behind bars either way. Wait until he's getting close to release and bring forth the abuse charges. Keep that POS in prison. The thought of them building up hope for their release and seeing the light at the end of the tunnel only to have it pulled away at the last minute is a nice thought. That is if you are able and willing to bring it to light and if it's legally possible. No matter what, I hope you have found peace in your life. Depends where they live and the statute of limitations on sexual assault there. But it is a good idea. I brushed my sister's toothbrush over a soap bar when we were little because I thought that's what she did too. Sometimes my toothbrush tasted a little soapy. Never talked about it with anyone. First time writing it down. That's sweet of you. I would have been so angry at you. Tears of joy. You reminded me of the reason why I always hide my toothbrush in my own room. My grandma once washed my brand new Hello Kitty electric toothbrush with Clorox. I put that toothbrush in my mouth and it burned everything. That's fucking crazy. It wasn't the dog that shit behind the couch. And it wasn't me who pissed in my cat litter tray. Face with raised eyebrow, when my dad said, "Blimey, the cat did a massive piss in the tray last night." My wife revealed to me in the last 6 months that she really hasn't felt comfortable with and attracted to me since shortly after she moved in with me. That was 3 years before we were married. We have been married 19 years. You can imagine how entangled our lives are. Being good roommates, co-parents to teens and vacation companions doesn't make mentally healthy options, divorce, look much better. These revelations have led to the realization of no connection, and therefore no interest in sex, by both of us at this point. Unfortunately, marriage has been financially harmful. Sam, with a history of a spending problem, moderately improved this last year, and divorce would be final devastating at this point. FML. Edit. Months of weekly therapy, multiple self-help books, and countless conversations, and even spending more time together has only revealed our issues more strongly. Edit 2. We had occasional sex for the whole marriage. Until therapy started. It was always initiated by me, or her, thinking that I've gone too long without, and she almost always had to have a drink or toke to get herself in the mood. Her vulnerability and refusal to allow herself to be pleasured is a whole other topic. Until recently, I craved more frequency, gave up on deeper sexual exploration years ago, thinking that was the main problem. Then it's like I woke up from a stupor. Although I'm trying, I find it hard to connect to someone who I don't believe likes me. Probably the same for her. But we are trying. Edit 3. She is a caring person. I believe she wasn't deliberate about moving forward despite not being comfortable with me intimately since early on. She was optimistic that our situation would get better as my career progressed. She also recently admitted that she didn't think sex was that important, around the time we got married. In many ways, I've been treated quite well, like I'm one of the pets. She just hasn't felt the romantic or intimate tug most of our relationship after I wasn't able to be physically or emotionally there when she first moved in. As a child with parents that stayed together when they shouldn't have, get that divorce. It's very obvious when your parents don't love each other, and doesn't model a great relationship for their future relationships. You're overlooking what he said about their finances. She's a SAHM with a spending problem. He's responsible for her debts and, in the event of a divorce, half his salary would be going to her. He may literally not be able to afford a divorce. For what it's worth, the shorter-term devastation of divorce will pale in comparison to laying on your deathbed, knowing you only ever cohabitated with someone who never loved you. 19 years is just a drop in the bucket, and you can learn to be happier alone. Drop in the bucket. Chances are that's a quarter of his life. Isn't it? Pale in comparison. My friend's younger brother took a dump in the litter box as a teen, to see what it was like. Their mom, an RN, saw it and declared, "There is a human sh*t in the litter box." Whenever anyone brings up anything litter box related, I think of this. Thank you. This made me laugh so fucking hard. I was having a down day until I came across your comment. Before my dad died, he told me about my mother's affairs. One with his childhood best friend. I'll never tell anyone else. Not gonna lie, I'd call my mom out on that shit. I'm an older woman. She's elderly and not really a part of my life. It's drama I don't need or want. Okay, this will probably cause me some shame, but it'll get buried, so IDK. So my wife makes great biscuits and gravy. Like really good. I never liked biscuits and gravy before we got married. Maybe I never had a version that was good enough. Maybe my tastes changed. All of my kids loves my wife's biscuits and gravy too. She's a pretty damn good cook, so they're that. Over the years, I've had other versions of biscuits and gravy with varying affection for the taste. Some good, some plan to just flat out mid. So, again, my wife's gravy with biscuits comes out on top. One day a friend of mine and his wife came over so we could all hang out. He offered to cook dinner for us. He said that he was gonna make biscuits and gravy. Now, like I mentioned before, I never liked it before my eye got married and had me try hers. So I was a bit nervous. As mentioned previously, my wife's biscuits and gravy always came out on top. When your friend comes over and cooks for you, how do you gently tell them that it's not good? Do you give them the fake sounding, "My stomach has been messed up all day," or the tried and true, "I already ate" line? "I'll eat it later." The later buys you enough time to let them leave before you throw the shit out. Anyway, my buddy's cooking and I'm already mentally preparing my speech, going over and over in my head so it doesn't sound forced or sincere enough. But hey, at the very least I can always just choke it down, right? Well, he finished up and had us try it. I'll be damned if it wasn't the best biscuits and gravy I've ever had in my life. Like damn, it was tasty. I had 2 plates worth. I still think of it from time to time. And while my wife's biscuits and gravy is still good, it pales in comparison to my friend's version. Every time she cooks it, I remember my friend's version and I don't say anything. Nothing at all. I'm not trying to get my ass kicked. So I hide my head in shame. You think about his biscuits while you're eating hers, don't you? I wish I knew how to quit your biscuits. That was very brave. Thank you for sharing. I would ask your friend for his recipe and you can make it for your wife sometime.